In the previous videos, we've set up our site. In this last section, we're going to cover managing users, using views and users, and then briefly touch on the importance of caching. So let's dive first into users. Let's go to People in the admin menu. Right now you just have me, and I'm an administrator. But say we wanted other people. We could go ahead and click Add User and add them. Pretty simple. But the other thing we can do here is we can actually extend what we collect and how we collect information for users, whether we're adding them as administrators or they're adding them themselves as anonymous users. One other critical piece of our build is that we need a role for staff so that we can create a unique staff page view. So let's go ahead and add some roles. So if we go to People, under Permissions, we go to Roles. We're going to add two roles. We're going to add the staff role, and we're going to add the member role. And we're just going to organize these from least number of privileges to most number of privileges. If we wanted to, we could take a quick look at everybody's permissions by clicking the permissions link. The nice thing about module filter is it also helps us filter this page, which can be a beast to deal with sometimes. If we want to give the staff a lot more control over the site, we can simply go through and check off the things that we want them to be able to do. Want them to flush cache? Sure, why not? We could do a whole bunch of other things, right? Administer comments. Sounds like a good idea. View the admin dashboard. We could do that too. Maybe we want them to use full HTML, which I think would be pretty handy. A whole bunch of other features that we could enable for them. We won't go into this into too much detail, but basically, one thing to know is if you've enabled in a module and you aren't seeing the functionality, check out the permissions page. Chances are something needs to be checked off for your specific role or for that user specific role so that they can have access to it. Let's just go ahead and click Save Permissions, and let's go from there. And now I know that on the final product, I want to have a staff page, which has the staff member's name, a block of text, and an image. So let's go about adding that. I also want to give this ability to users of the site. So if somebody wants to create a new account, we can get their username, email address, first name, last name, and photo. So let's take a quick look on how we would go about adding those additional fields. Somewhat confusingly, this functionality is hiding under Configuration. Under Configuration, under People, there's Account Settings. If we go into Account Settings, we see a whole bunch of overall settings, and then a whole bunch of other things that we can do. So for instance, if we wanted anonymous users to be considered guests, we could change that here. If we wanted to change the administrator role, we could do that too. We could set up how people are approved, if they need to be approved, if they need to verify their email, how they get handled when we cancel their accounts. If we enable user pictures, which in this case I'm not going to use, I'm going to use its own custom field. What we want the welcome, account activation, cancellation, password recovery emails to say, and we can customize those with tokens if we wanted to. And then we also can manage fields and manage display, similar to content types. So here we're going to add a first name field, and we can require that and display it on user registration. A last name field, and again we're going to require it on user registration. And a photo that we're going to require on user registration. And just for staff, we're going to have a field called bio, which is going to be a long text area. And we're not going to change any required settings, but we will change it to filtered text. Great. And we can drag and drop things if we want. And click Save. We can also come over here and manage the display. Add custom displays, and other sorts of things. So if we went to the user account, and we wanted to display things differently on the user account, like we don't care about their history or something of that nature, we could go ahead and do that and click Save. Maybe we won't want their last initial either. Let's go ahead and click Save. So now on our user account, we'll just see the photo, their name, and their bio, if they have one. If they don't have a bio, they'll just be hidden. And you know what? While we're at it, let's make sure the image is displayed a specific size. For user pages, let's make it 480 square. And click Save. Great. Now let's go ahead and add our two staff users, Manny and Chet. And you can give them any email address you want. In my case, I'm just going to change my email. Make sure that they're active. Make sure that the flag's staff. If we want to send out a notification, we can. In this case, we don't have to. And we can choose our Manny file. Great. And click Create New Account. And let's go ahead and do the same for Chet. Okay, so now if we go back and look at people, we have admin, Manny, and Chet. Great. Now, I want to build a staff page, such as this one. So we're going to go ahead and import a view. So again, we'll go to Structure, Views, and we'll go to Import. We're going to grab the staff.view.txt file and import it. What we can see here is that we've created a page called About/Staff, that we have a normal menu item of staff, and that we're going to list fields where the user role is staff. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this page. That's right. I'm not requiring the bio, so let's go back and add in the bios for Manny and Chet. Let's go to Add Manny. When we're not on the login form field, we can go in and grab his bio. Give him his title too, why not? Save. We can do the same thing for Chet. Now if we look at our staff page, it should match the one on our final site. Pretty good. Oh, one other thing we noticed here is that we don't have our right sidebar anymore. What are we going to do about that? Again, let's go to Structure, Blocks, and let's add in some of our other sidebar items. So what else do we have in the sidebar on our final site? We have our featured plan and our upcoming events. So let's go ahead and add those. So we have Views Plans. We'll drop that into the sidebar second. And we have our Views Events. And again, we'll drop that in our sidebar second. Click Save. They should be there now. Let's just reorder them so they're in the right order. And let's go back to our staff page. Looking good. Now let's just rearrange our menu again. If we go to Structure, Menus, Main Menu, we can drag Staff Before Contact. as in the final website. And so now our staff page looks near identical to the one on our final product. So our work is almost done. So one last thing I want to do with users is set up something for the authenticated or member type. And so authenticated users should have the ability to flag that they're going to be attending an event. And this is the reason why we installed the flags module. So if we go to structure, flags, add flag, we're going to flag nodes because events are nodes. And we'll name the flag RSVP. We'll make the link text, yes, I will attend. The unflagged link text, no, I cannot attend. And then we'll let all authenticated enough users use this. And we'll click Save. And now we'll import a view that will show the events that a user is going to attend on their user profile page and also provide an admin view of this information with a count for the number of people who are attending. So there we go for our admin view. And just for your knowledge, we have something advanced going on here to create this relationship with the flag. We have a contextual filter and a relationship built. And that's what's enabling us to connect these two pieces of content, the users, the flags, and the events they're flagging. And so if we had users on the site, users could go through, flag these things, and we could add this block to their user page. And so for instance, since I'm the administrator on the site, what this block is looking for is my user ID. So I'm going to go ahead and give it my user ID, and you can see that the event that I flagged, Intro to Video Game Development, is showing up. That's simple. And now we can build a much more complex My Account form that provides helpful information to users, to other members in the community, and also to administrators so they know how many people are going to come. So let's go ahead and click Save. That wraps up the majority of the site building. If you want to go ahead and add more content to see what happens, feel free to do so. Feel free to create new blocks, play around with views, and use this as a playground. Again, your testing environment kind of shows you the final product, so you can get a good idea as to how things work. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is caching, because it's so important to know about. Under Configuration, Development, Performance, you have options for different levels of caching. On your production website, which is your live website, you want to make sure that these are checked. So come here, compress cache pages, maybe even set your expirations to different times. Pantheon will give you a best practices on this. So if we went over to our Dropworks example dashboard and hit click status, you'll see that it has this launch checker that gives you a whole bunch of important things that you should know about that are super helpful to make your site run best. So take those things into consideration, but really, you should be caching on your production website. One other point is that on your production website, you may want to turn off several modules. Views UI, Field UI, a couple of the administrative modules that you hopefully won't need to interact all that much with once you have your site set and ready to go. You can always turn them on and disable them again if need be. But as a best practice, you want to keep your production website performing optimally. So turn off things that don't need to be on. And really look at this launch checker because it'll really help you make sure that your site's working as best as possible. And so with that, we've built our demo website, learned about how to build sites with Drupal, explored some key topics such as views, panels, caching, blocks, taxonomy, and I hope that you'll continue to learn about Drupal by visiting some of the resources and getting involved in the community. And that information can be found in the PDF presentation that was included in the original zip file you downloaded. Thanks, and happy Drupaling.